Okay, so there's a few reasons why you clicked on this video. One, you're one of my subscribers and you support the channel. Two, you just like my face. Or three, and most importantly, there are millions of people talking about the next movie or the next TV show that's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the MCU. And yeah, you've heard about it, but you're still a little bit confused. And that's why I'm here, to give you a condensed explanation of what the MCU is and how it became to be. This is the MCU Beginner's Guide for Dummies. Now I know it says for dummies, but I don't want you to take that personally, because this whole Marvel movie thing can be absolutely confusing. For example, you're watching an Avengers movie or a movie with all these heroes in it, and then one might ask itself, hey, where's Wolverine? Where's the X-Men? I mean, we just saw them on screen literally earlier this year, but yet there's this big team up and they're nowhere to be found. And you're thinking to yourself, they are Marvel, right? First of all, good job. Second of all, this is where it gets a little confusing. See, in the mid-1900s, thanks to the groundbreaking storytelling and characters such as Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Spider-Man, Marvel became a juggernaut in the comic book world. Unfortunately, in the late 80s and early 90s, unlike FUBU, the comic book world started to take a massive hit in popularity, leading to some financial issues. See, across the street at DC Comics, they already were ahead of the game, making smash hits about a crime-fighting bat featuring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. So here's where the confusion comes in about the MCU and their movies. Marvel was so strapped for cash at the time that they couldn't put out these big blockbuster movies. At least they couldn't put it out well.
Scott Olin as the Red Skull, and Matt Salinger as the Marvel Comics hero, Captain America.
So they did what any one of us would do. They just started selling stuff just to make ends meet. They started selling off different characters and different assets to studios so the studios could put out the money. But the problem with that is that Marvel Entertainment only saw a small percentage of the overall total box office. Fox Studios got the rights to X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Meanwhile, Universal Studios got the Incredible Hulk. And Sony actually hit the jackpot by getting one of the most profitable superheroes and my favorite hero of all time, Spider-Man. Late 90s and early 2000s, that's when we actually started to see the superhero boom. So heroes like Batman and Superman were crushing it over at DC, but we actually felt a switch in support of Marvel when Blade started coming out, X-Men, and also your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And then that's when Marvel was actually a huge box office commodity. Everybody wanted a piece of that pie. In 2003, there was an idea for Marvel Studios to start making movies with the characters still left under their banner, where they can interact with one another just like they do in the comic book, but on the big screen. On the backs of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Chris Evans' Captain America, and the other original 6 Avengers, the MCU became a global juggernaut, arguably bigger than anything that has ever happened in cinema, pulling in 2 of the top 5 highest grossing movies ever. And now the MCU is broken up into phases. Phases 1 through 3 were the Infinity Saga, spanning 23 movies, lasting from Iron Man to Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Whoa! Thought you said Spider-Man was owned by Sony and Sony puts out the movies. Well, let's just say Sony has made some questionable decisions with the webhead over the years, and they really need Marvel Studios to come save them. So they brokered a deal to bring Spidey back home. Now, granted, it was only for a few movie deals, and right now we're not really sure when we're gonna see Spider-Man back in the MCU, but if they keep making stuff like this, we will see him back home very soon. I mean, have you seen this movie? I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan ever. Don't see this movie. Don't do this to yourself, okay? Don't support these. Don't support these. Okay, now for the past few years, Disney has been acting like Thanos and snapping up all these studios. So now we do have the opportunity to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into the MCU, because Daddy Disney owns it. Let's talk about what's happening in the MCU right now today. Right now, we are in Phase 4 of the MCU, and we're moving away from the Infinity Saga, and just announced at San Diego Comic-Con 2022, we are officially moving into the multiversal saga. So that means that every Marvel property that we have seen throughout the years is in a way canonized as in the MCU, but just not in our direct universe. If you're a little bit confused by what I said, look, we're all going through this now. And I think the best way to get you caught up to the present time is to watch the Loki series and also Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. This has to be the most exciting time to be a Marvel fan right now. We're finally starting to connect the dots from past and present movies, MCU and non-MCU. And we're also starting to get different genres of movies within a superhero community. If you want horror, Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness for you. If you want kind of like a rom-com feel, Thor Love and Thunder is right there. Or if you just want an absolute smasher of a movie, Spider-Man No Way Home is the way to go. And Marvel right now is the most diverse it's ever been. We have Kamala Khan that just got introduced as a Pakistani American. And in Black Panther 2, the Atlanteans might be taken after Mayan culture. So what I am saying is, I hope that this video has give you a little bit of clarity of what the MCU is. And is everything gonna be for you? Absolutely not. But I am confident that as this universe continues to expand, that you'll be able to find something that you really can sink your teeth into. Alright guys, that was part 1 of the MCU Explained. Next week we're going to go into part 2 of MCU Explained, where we talk about the MCU Phase 1, which spanning from Iron Man in 2008 to the Avengers in 2012. Also, there's some videos around here somewhere. Click on it. YouTube knows you better than you know yourself. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye. Listen to me. All right. No, I'm good, man. Let me